7th graders, so we've come, a little bit far. And so I'm here to share the predictable life advice and some metaphors with you. I want to start with a favorite story of mine, and then, as Alexis said, I write slam poetry with Al Tabwater, the Bomb Slam team. And so I've written a piece as well for that, so I just want to share a little bit of one of my favorite stories and then that piece as well. Like Alexis said, I teach AP Spanish Literature and Spanish Emerging World History, and sometimes woodshop when Mr. Gregory needs. But AP Spanish Literature has been a fun challenge this year. For those of you that don't know, AP Spanish Literature is a course for immersion students. You have to know 38 short stories, poems, and novellas cover to cover, because the College Board is an organization destined to make students and teachers equally miserable. So, after talking about different types of literature, the picaresque novel, death metaphors, existentialism, a lot of tangents about tacos. Someone in 6th hour actually asked me one of our last days, what's your favorite story? What's your favorite book, Profane? So without hesitation, I chose Candide by Voltaire, which I brought my copy of it today. It's written in the late 1700s, and I have a bunch of copies in my house, including this one, which is filled with gruesome comic strip representations of what happens in it. It's very cheesy, I live for it. Now, if you are an expert in 18th century French literature and the anti-Leibniz school of philosophy movement, I may brutalize your field here, so I apologize. But basically, I want to share with you a bit from the 30th and final chapter of Candide. It's near the end of Candide's tumultuous journey between the old and new worlds. After he survived the Great Lisbon earthquake, after he got conscripted into the Bulgarian army, he nearly died in Paraguay. And he ended up home with his lifelong crush, who turned out to be a monster. And so he, with Cunegonde, ended up together at the end of the story, along with his lifelong tutor, the obnoxiously optimistic Dr. Pangloss, and two friends, Martin and the Turk. And so at the closing of the novel, the Turk says to Candide, "I have but 20 acres. I cultivate them with my children. Our work keeps at bay the three great devils: boredom, vice, and necessity." Back on his little farm, Candide reflected deeply on the words of the Turk. "All I know," said Candide, "is that we must cultivate our garden." "You are right," said Candide's optimistic tutor, Pangloss. "For when man was placed in the Garden of Eden, he was put there ut operaretur eum, so that he might work, which proves he was not born for rest. Let us set to work and stop proving things." Ironically, Pangloss then starts listing off all of Candide's accomplishments, hoping that he doesn't feel bad for ending up living in the middle of basically nowhere on a broke-down farm. And after listing a number of things, Candide stops him, closing the book with his final sentence: "That is well said, but we must cultivate our garden." Now, I've read this book more times than I can count, which is easy because it's 100 pages, and if you know me, that's about all my attention span can handle. But that last closing really stuck with me. Candide was a world traveler who saw incredible things. He met legendary people, yet in the end, chooses to set aside Dr. Pangloss's long laundry list of accomplishments so that he can focus on what he believes in, tending to his garden. I think about the graduates in this room. These incredible things that you have seen and done in your time so far, in the few seconds that you've lived, you have become powerhouses. Tomorrow at senior recognition, we will get to hear the 100+ accolades you have earned as a graduating class. Yet starting on Tuesday, the value of these accolades must turn inward for you. Your future employers, business partners, family members, tarot card readers, what have you, they won't know what these moments mean. To be a summa cum laude, to be a Writers Club member, to have been a star at DECA, to have sportsed really hard. These are all accomplishments that define the sum of who you are. But they mean nothing unless they fuel the hands that allow you to cultivate your garden, much like Candide. That is not to say that these things have no purpose. Do not undervalue what you have done in the first 18 years of your story. However, at turning points like right now, ask yourselves what outcomes they can fuel. What seeds will you plant? How much will you grow? Do you know how much strength you have to do the next list of accomplishments now that you've finished the first? For the last 4 years, Northern High School has been a canvas filled with the different colors of all of your successes. Successes of different sizes, shapes, notoriety. Use these to fuel your efforts to create the most beautiful gardens. Invite people in who normally don't see beauty in the world. Work hard toward a bountiful harvest that you can share with people whose crops may fail from mistakes or maybe due to no fault of their own. Don't count any future harvest as a guaranteed bet because your last one was a cornucopia. And most of all, know that despite you having the most dedicated and proud team behind you made up of family and teachers and principals and peers, from here on you are the architect of your own story. The landscape designer of fields that we will one day photograph and talk about how hard you worked to achieve these things. Be empowered to solve problems. Be hireable. Be employable. Be a contributor. And tend to your garden with all the risks and failure you may face. If Candide could do it, you can too. So this piece I want to dedicate to class of 2018. When you got in this mess, you were small bodies and loud voices and even bigger dreams. And I hope only one of those has changed. See, I've been in high school for way longer than normal. And I can tell you that the hardest question you're going to face from here on out is, where are you from? See, as your social studies teacher, I can tell you could answer with, you're from Northern High School, or Forest Hills, or Grand Rapids, or 43.98707 degrees north, 87.5657 degrees west, but you are not from Google Maps. You are not from isobars, or from in-between street signs. You are not a piece of furniture that we know where to expect even when the lights are out. See, the question, where are you from, is a blank canvas, is a block of marble, is all the words you've never seen stitched together and a titanium needle of thread to put them together. It is the gallery of all the exhibits with your answer that you will one day curate. How do you open a gallery of who you are and welcome in people to show where you are from? You are not from a place. You are from a people, a chain link of moments. What will you do with it? Will you build a fence? Will you hoist yourselves and others up by it, like memories lost by grandparents over time? You are still from the same places, even if you forget the street addresses. You're timeless. You're not from the zip code. You are from a bookshelf falling over on Kevin Rowland in the 6th grade. You are from forgiveness. You are from the day Elena Masternak accidentally pulled the fire alarm. You are from pixie stick narcotics. You are from sing-alongs on buses. You are from field trips. You are from Jill Gray sliding into the table at the Husky Cup Challenge. Soaked. You are from activity period. You are from Greece. You are from Footloose. You are from diversity days. You are from long conversations with Mrs. Mottman in the athletic office. You are from today, this moment, a new start. You are the most amazing version of you, and okay, you might just be the okayest version of you, but that's fine. High school was hard, and you probably don't know what you're going to do when you grow up. Me either, but thankfully you're not here to provide simple answers. After this week, you are a nobody to a whole lot of somebodies. And how beautiful is it to open a new gallery of you? Always fear certainty of your identity because it means that the ink has dried. Life is not like a printer. Nobody is hovering over each page to make sure that it came out as planned. But maybe life is like a printer because it's really frustrating sometimes and never works when you want it to. You have roamed our halls for years. Innumerable moments that we share, and even at the ugliest, your projects, broken friendships, glitchy power school. You are a product of what you have survived. And the more that you hustle and grind, the more rich of a collection that you will have to curate. So when people ask you, class of 2018, where are you from? You ask them, how much time have you got? Because it's really, truly a long story. Thank you.